Alright guys, I'm going to help you out with a few of the questions from Unit 1's review guide. I'm going to start off with number 3. So that's asking to calculate the opportunity cost for moving between the following combinations. So what did you have to give up in order to make that move? So from A to B, you gained one capital good, but you had to give up one consumer good. Now from E to D, you gave up one capital good to gain 15 consumer goods. So the opportunity cost would be one capital good. Now for 4, assuming the combination D was produced rather than the combination B, will this economy's growth rate increase, decrease, or stay the same? In this case, the economy is going to increase. The more capital goods are being produced, the better the economy is doing. Now moving on. 11. Workers lose their jobs due to recession. On the production possibility curve, that's the economy operating at 100%. So in this case, our point would simply just lie within the curve. Now say there's an increase in consumer demand for pizza. You're simply going from point A to point B with more pizza being produced. Now if for whatever reason it now took more resources than it did before to produce cars, then your curve would shift to the right and kind of bulge off like that, like I've drawn. Not the best drawing. Now moving on to comparative advantage in trade. I've already broken down the math for you guys, but essentially in terms of sugar production, Cuba has to make its 1 ton of sugar, has to give up a quarter of a car. Mexico has to give up 2 cars to produce 1 ton of sugar. On the car side, Cuba has to give up 4 tons of sugar to produce 1 car. Mexico only has to give up a half a ton. So now absolute advantage, like on question number 1, just which country produces more of each product. So in this case, Mexico produces the most sugar and the most cars. Now what is Cuba's opportunity cost for producing 1 car? So it has to give up 4 tons of sugar. Which country has the comparative advantage in cars? So in order to produce 1 car, Cuba has to give up 4 tons of sugar. Mexico only has to give up a half a ton. So Mexico has the comparative advantage in car production. But on the sugar side, Mexico has to give up 2 cars to produce 1 ton of sugar. Cuba only has to give up 0.25 of a car to produce 1 ton of sugar. So now Cuba has the comparative advantage in sugar. Now for both countries to benefit, how much sugar can be traded for each car? That is simple. It's just the trading terms have to be within these 2 numbers right here. So anything between 1/2 and 4. So it can't be 1/2, it has to be more than 1/2, and it can't be greater than 4. Any number in between there would be a correct answer. Alright, let's draw a few increases in demands and increases in supplies. So if that's our original supply curve, it's our original demand curve here. If we wanted to show a decrease in demand, we're simply drawing a new demand line to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. So that's our D2. What happened to price? Or price is on your y-axis, quantity on your x-axis. So price went down, and the quantity being demanded also went down. Do another one. Here's your supply. measure demand. Now, if there's a increase in supply, drawing our new supply line over here. What happened to price? Well, it went down, but quantity went up. Okay, let's look at 10, 11, 12, and 13. So for these, you need to find the point, how much at $8 is being supplied and how much is being demanded. So at $8, we have a quantity supplied of 30 and a quantity demanded of 70. So your shortage is just going to be the amount of units in between these 2 points. In this case, 40. I'll skip through 11. It's basically the same thing. But at $11, I need to know the surplus between these 2 points here. Now, 12 and 13. Identify a specific scenario that would cause the equilibrium price to be $12 and the quantity to be 30. So we want that point to intersect here. $12 with 30 units. Now that's already on the demand line, so the only choice we have is to move our supply. So we need a decrease in supply, and our new supply line right here, VRS2. Now as identify a specific scenario, you can write any scenario that you want that would cause a decrease in supply. That can be anything from an increase in tax on pizza or increase of cost of the supplies needed to make a pizza. Now we look at 13. They want an equilibrium price at $7. So let's put that right here. And a unit quantity of units to be 20. Now we can't move the supply line because it's already on there, but we can move the demand line to get there. So again, shift to the left. It's our new demand line. Now we just need a specific scenario that would cause our demand line to decrease. That can be anything from there's less consumers tastes have changed, maybe they no longer want pizza, or the price of another related good, a substitute good that people buy rather than buying the pizza has decreased, causing more people to go eat that instead of eating pizza. Anything that can cause a decrease in demand is a acceptable answer.